Hi everybody, welcome to Poppy Cooks. Today I'm going to show you how easy it is to make your own pasta. Super easy, minimal ingredients, it's so delicious. But I'm going to do something kind of wild with this pasta that I'm going to make today. I'm going to make my own tortelloni. Lulu, stop judging already. I've never made them before, but we'll see how they come out. Hopefully they're not a disaster. They're not a disaster, Lulu. All right, just watch. Okay, to start your pasta, you need 2 cups of flour, 3 eggs, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and a teaspoon of salt. You're going to want to mix this together. You can do it by hands, you can use your stand mixer, do it in a bowl, however you want. If it's too dry, you want to add water, only a tablespoon at a time. If it's too sticky, you're going to want to add some more flour. All right, we're going to mix this up. So once your dough ball is formed, you want to place it on a lightly floured surface, knead it a couple times, and then you want to wrap it in plastic wrap, and you're going to let it rest for about 30 minutes to an hour. It's very important to let your pasta dough rest. So while your pasta is resting, we're going to start on the filling. So I have half a cup of diced onions with 2 cloves of minced garlic and a tablespoon of olive oil, and we're going to saute this till the onions are translucent, just a couple minutes. Once your onions are translucent, you're going to add 1 pound of ground pork along with 1 pound of Italian sausage that I took out of the casing, so you see it's all nice and crumbly. All right, and now you're going to saute this till it's cooked, pretty much. You want to try to break up the pieces as much as possible. Alright, so when you see your sausage and pork is almost done, you're going to add 1 16-ounce bag of frozen spinach. Alright, now you're going to saute this all together until it's all done. It's like the meat is all cooked. Okay, so this has been simmering for about 8 minutes. You don't want this to be done until all the liquid from the spinach is gone. You want this to be relatively dry. But also, you'll see I've been kind of hacking out the pieces of the sausage. I've been making them as small as possible. Because this is going to be your stuffing for your tortellini, and you can only fit about a teaspoon of the mixture into each one. So if pieces are too big, it's going to not really work out. So you want to try to break these pieces while it's cooking. Okay? So once most of the liquid is gone, and your sausage pieces are nice and tiny, I actually used a pair of shears just to get in there and cut them up. It was a lot easier. You're going to want to add some cheese. I'm using about a cup and a half of shredded Parmesan. You can use whatever cheese you want. You can use, Romano. You could use mozzarella. Any kind of cheese would work. Asiago. It'll all be nice. But it's going to serve 2 purposes. It's going to help obviously add flavor, but it's also going to help bind the whole thing together. So with the heat on low, we're going to mix this all up, and you'll see what happens. Okay, so the cheese is all melted. You can see it's starting to clump up now, so it'll be much nicer when you put it in the tortellini. But now, we're going to take this off the heat, and then we're going to add our ricotta. It's not going to be tortellini without ricotta. Okay, so we got our 1 cup of ricotta in here, and now we're just going to mix it all up until it's fully incorporated. And then you're going to want to taste it. You're definitely going to have to add more seasoning, because spinach could be a little bit bland. Ricotta tends to be a little bit on the sweet side. So you're going to want to add a lot of salt, probably about 1.5 teaspoons, maybe more, depending on your preference. But add a little bit more garlic, some granulated garlic, add some pepper. You can even spice it up a little bit if you want at this point. But yeah, definitely give it a taste, because this is the body of your tortellini. So if this tastes awful, chances are the tortellini will taste awful as well. So don't be afraid to season this up. So once the ricotta is all incorporated, you adjust to the seasoning, you love how it tastes, you're going to leave this off to the side. You want to let it cool before you use it for the tortellini. You got to let it cool for at least an hour. But now we're going to go play with the pasta again. So now your pasta had some time to rest. You're going to see it's much more pliable. The gluten has a chance to rest, so now it's much softer and much easier to work with. You could easily roll this out by hand. Make sure you flour the surface of your countertop very, very well. Or if you have one of these, use that. Or you could maybe even have an electric one. That's even better. But yeah, so you want to roll these out into like lasagna style noodles. So you want them nice and thick. So what is that, about 4 inches? All right, so that's what you want to do. Okay, so once you have your pasta sheets rolled out, you're ready to start making them some squares. Just make sure to lightly flour both sides so they don't stick to your counter, and then cover the ones you're not using. I know we're adding flour to prevent it from getting sticky, but the pasta could also dry out on you really, really quick. So make sure you have them all covered. All right, so now we're gonna cut this guy. All right, so now we have our pasta squares. They're like 3-inch squares. I have my cooled mixture for the stuffing, and I have here a little container of water. All right, so now, this is my first time actually ever doing this, so don't judge. All right, so you wanna put that into the middle, like that. All right, then you wanna generously dampen the outer edges. This way it'll stick together. So then we're gonna fold it over. All right. You wanna make sure you have a nice tight seal all the way around. All right, so then what you're supposed to do is you fold it over like this, and then around your finger. And there's your tortellini. It's kind of a cross between a tortellini and a tortelloni. These are a little bit bigger. But hey, I don't think that's too bad for a first try. All right. All right, so now we have about 150 more to go. Okay, so it's taken me about 20 tries, but I finally got the knack of how to roll them. All right, so you want to fold over the top. Now with your thumb, you pretty much want to use this side, like the underside of it. And then you just put that over there. Pull this one over, make it tight. And there you have your tortellini. Say, hey, I finally got it down. And they're done. Not gonna lie, this was a little time consuming. From start to finish, it took about an hour and a half to make these, but it made a lot. It made 43. And these are pretty big, as you can see. So you only need probably like 5 or 6 per serving because of the size of them. So the rest, I'm gonna let them dry on this pan with a little bit of flour, and then I'm gonna freeze them. All right, and let me show you how I'm gonna make them. Yes, Lulu. Lulu, we have to wait for the water to boil. See, it's almost ready. I'm gonna cook the tortelloni in a second, but the water needs to boil. I can't make it boil faster. Yes, I can cover it to make it boil faster, but you need some patience, young lady. Yes, you do. Okay, once you have your water boiling, Lulu, the water's boiling, okay? So I'm gonna put them in now. All right, so once the water's boiling, you wanna give it a quick stir, like this, to get the water spinning. And then you're going to drop your tortellini in. This prevents them from sticking to each other. And they only need a couple minutes to cook. Oh, they're cooking! Alright. So they're cooking. Fresh pasta doesn't need a long time to cook, so they need to just be heated through. And when the pasta's ready, you'll see they paled in color. And 4 minutes later, they're done. So now we're gonna pull them out. So I pulled them out. I put them on a bed of a beautiful pink sauce. We'll save that recipe for another time. And I topped it with some shaved Parmesan cheese. And now we're gonna taste. Look how beautiful they are. Look at that. Let's see. Mmm. So delicious. You're getting all the flavors. The sauce complements it all beautifully. You get the spinach, you're getting the sausage. So good. All right, if you make this, let us know how it comes out.